Rogan was talking about the fact that Logan Paul could beat Floyd Mayweather if they fought an MMA fight. I agree with Joe. Now, I only know one thing about Logan. I watched him do this MMA match. It was like for his YouTube channel. So on some level he was playing around, but he was going pretty hard. And he kind of trained and prepared for it. And he did it against AJ Agazarm. And they were like buddies or lived in the same building at some point or something along these lines. They knew each other. And Paul said, hey, I want to do this. Can I do it against you? And they went pretty hard. If it was 15 minutes, AJ won all 15 minutes. But you'd be surprised, or at least I was, how hard he had to work, how much energy he had to exert. I think even AJ at points in the grappling exhibition, the MMA exhibition, was a little surprised at some of the resistance he was getting. Logan wrestled in high school, I believe in California. Don't know that part for sure. And then got into the boxing, and quite frankly, he and his brother do a lot better job than anybody expected they were going to do. I mean, they were athletes that took it serious, worked hard, got in shape, and came out to win. Now, their experience and their skill level, I understand you have a different conversation. I'm just reminding you that my premise here is pretty soft. I'm telling you they did better than you thought they were going to do. That's true. They did. Neither one of them backed down at part way through the match, got tired or fatigued or quit or something like that. They were in shape. They took it very serious. And when you do have the wrestling background, not to mention Paul's a big guy. Paul's a very big guy. I passed him somewhere. We were doing something. We're on Radio Row out at the Super Bowl. And there's two of them. There's two Paul brothers, and they're not twins, but you would think they are. I mean, they look a lot alike. So I don't know which one I passed, but, he was out there doing something for a boxing match. He was just a big guy. Won a couple 100 pounds, but he was a big guy compared to Floyd, who's not even 160 soaking wet. Not even 155 soaking wet. So I agree with Joe, but you do have to understand why I'm agreeing with him. I'm agreeing with him because I saw Paul do something that was outside of the box of what I thought Paul did, and I thought that he did it very well. But I'm then using that to draw the conclusion that he could beat Floyd without having any evidence on Floyd. Maybe Floyd does something. At one point, Floyd was flirting with the idea that he was training some MMA. Now, I know that he was never going to do MMA, and he was using that as a way of getting headlines and dangling something. He was going to come fight Conor, whatever that whole spoof was. But let's just say it was true and he actually was in those rooms. I mean, Floyd is a very special athlete. It's just boxing has a very different balance. It's a completely different balance. So unless you did practice that on some level, you're just not going to know what you're doing. Paul, on the other hand, is a great big guy. He's used to tackling people. Knows a little bit about the hands. I mean, look, that's not a foregone conclusion. I'm just sharing with you along this vein. Joe Rogan said that he thinks Paul could beat him. I also would think that Paul would beat him.